Wi-Fi Sheep would like to say a huge thank you to all of you that kindly support us. Help us continue to bring new videos like this. Join patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep from just $1 a month. Hello, how you doing? And a very warm welcome back to youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep with me, Tom, where a bit of a disaster has occurred. You see, I've already recorded this intro and I've recorded the whole video and I've even recorded the outro. Unfortunately, none of the sound worked and there was some glitch with the USB setup, or something has gone wrong and basically the microphone didn't record. So if I cut to the desk here, you can see that we're already finished. We're done. And what we've been doing has been kind of destructive. So it's not like I can just put this back together, pretend it never happened and re-record the whole thing. Yeah, so that's a bit of a problem. So what I will say is, first of all, welcome back to the channel. And those of you that follow me or support me rather over on Patreon or as a YouTube channel member will already know that I've had a slight change of circumstances in the past 2 months. And that will mean that a few things need to change here on Wi-Fi Sheep. It's all good, it's all positive, but I need to change how I go about making videos happen. Hence, we're back in this kind of setup today. Also, because I've got a lot of project work on, a lot of things happening, and I really want to try and get as many projects done here on the channel for you, including the launch of our new project, Rio 8-bit computer build, where basically Tiny Basic Computers version 2 or generation 2. And that will be coming up here on the channel shortly. Before we go any further, quick reminder. Again, I'm annoying because I've already done all this, but you won't have seen it. Pixel Addicts magazine. It's back. This is issue 13, and it's the final part of my BBC Micro series. Let's just cut to camera. So yeah, it's in here. You can get this in the UK in major retailers. And also you can order online from the website. So here is my article, and this is part 3. This is the final part. I have another article coming up in issue 14, but it'll be the sort of July. No, we're in July now, so it'll be August 2023 edition, which will be issue 14. For 2023, I have a new article, just a standalone, coming up. So please do go and check that out. Throughout this and many other projects here on Wi-Fi Sheep, I have been truly grateful to be partnering with PCBWay.com, the #1 solution for all your turnkey PCB manufacturing and assembly needs. And if you're like me and have an ever-growing interest and need in hobbyist electronics, then having a company like PCBWay at your disposal really is invaluable. If not done so already, do go and take a look at PCBWay.com and sign up for your free account. Trust me, once you get into having your own professional custom PCBs made, it really opens up so many possibilities for your own future projects. So don't delay, head over to PCBWay.com today. Basically, to cut a long story short, I saw on AliExpress, as a few YouTubers did a while ago, there were these retro laptops, these PC compatible. There was like a laptop and there was like a PDA type thing with an inbuilt QWERTY keyboard. And quite a few YouTubers picked these up. Now, these used original x86 PC chipsets. I think one was a 386 and the other was original 8080 or something like that, 8088 or whatever it was. But anyway, and they could run things like Windows 3 right up to Windows 95, play DOS games, and they were quite cool. And I know a couple of YouTubers did pick them up. I looked at them, they were over $100. I thought, no, it's not really worth my time, so I didn't bother. But what I did think was, could I actually build a retro PC laptop myself? That's where I kind of started looking for assets and resources. And basically, I did a video a while ago using an ESP32 and the FabGL library that actually allows you to run Windows on the microcontroller. And I thought that'd be quite cool to use as the base for this project. Now, I needed a kind of a laptop. I didn't want to rip apart a existing machine. So I looked around for options. I thought we could 3D print something, but I didn't really fancy that. And then I thought, what about those toy laptops you get? And that's what I picked up. Unfortunately, I've kind of I've pulled it apart now because really I want the plastics. But what I thought was, before we basically pulled it apart, let's just do a quick review and look at this product, see what it actually is, and what it did as a toy laptop. From I actually found that the date for it is actually 2002 when it was made, and yeah, it's pretty terrible. But anyway, let me show you, and I'll narrate the rest of it because, as I said, sadly the video was actually mute.
So here it is then. This is the Accelerator Next. Yeah, your guess on this is as good as mine, and it's one of these relatively cheap kids toy laptop type things. It's quite small in size actually. It's not terribly big. So see if we can open it up. And yeah, so you get a QWERTY keyboard of sorts and a trackpad. Let me just show you the screen. Yeah, so this is absolutely typical for these sort of devices. They sort of have this sort of big screen area, but print computer sort of Windows type desktop in paper, and then you have this tiny little LCD matrix type thing in the middle. Again, very, very common. The keyboard itself feels terrible to type on. It's a membrane, definitely. But I'm hoping we can retain that actually. And as I said, there's the screen. Right, size comparison. So this is my Acer Aspire 1 netbook, which is filthy. And I should have cleaned it before I put it on camera, but never mind. So that's a netbook. That's my PCX86 netbook, which is about 12 years old. Yeah, coming about 12 years old now. And you can see the size of it, and it's full QWERTY keyboard and full size LCD compared to the Accelerator Next. So it's a similar size, but not quite the same. Anyway. So what I want to put inside is one of these. This is a very special kind of ESP32 microcontroller called the, I think it's a TT Go or TTL Go. And we demonstrated these on channel before. Now these have PS2 mouse and keyboard, as you can see there, and it has VGA video out on the other side. It has a micro SD and it has audio jack for stereo sound. So quite different to the normal microcontroller. These are powerful enough to run Windows and emulate x86 PC. So I actually want to put one inside this device. That's the kind of plan. Let me just show you the size quickly. So you've got this memory card thing that basically I have no idea what it does. It's rammed in there good. It's not coming out. So God knows what that does. That was just like an Ethernet port. It is a standard Cat5 type Ethernet port. It's actually used for the mouse on this system, although I don't think it's a sort of proper mouse. I don't have the mouse, so we can't test that, unfortunately. Underneath, we've got battery compartment, very little else, nothing on the other side, and nothing on the back. So I think what we need to do is we'll see about if we can get into the batteries, because I don't know if this thing works actually. It's not working so far. So take the screw out. Let's have a look inside. And yeah, so two AA size batteries, 1.5 volts. Let's just get those out. I wonder how old they are. They don't appear to have leaked. Yes, let's have a quick look. And yeah, standard AA size. There's usually like an expiry date on it, and these actually expired in 2018, I think it is. You just see that on camera. So bearing in mind the expiry date is quite a way on these batteries. I mean, these have been in there for oh God knows how long. It probably got last used then in about 2012, maybe, possibly. That's a guess. I don't know. Anyway, fresh batteries, same sort of Duracell brand, but now these, I think I have expiry date on these, if I can see it. Yeah, 2028, 2029, which gives you an idea. It's 2023 at the moment. So put those in. So we kind of know that if it's two AA batteries, it means we're running on a voltage of about 3 volts, because 1.5 add 1.5 is 3 volts. So we know the TTL logic for this machine is going to be 3 volts. Anyway, let's see if it works. And oh, it does. It's powered up straight away. And yeah, that gives you the idea of the quality and definition of the screen, which is, yeah, anyway. Let's try and sort of go through a few things. To be honest with you, I really don't care. These things, as far as I'm concerned, have always been absolutely terrible. They were terrible and disappointing in the 90s. They are terrible and disappointing now, as far as I'm concerned. So here I am just trying to sort of test out the game, see if I can sort of get anything to kind of work. And it generally seems to be these sort of very simple puzzle type games. Oh, by the way, I should point out that the sound isn't working at all. The speaker, it's got a speaker inside it, but it's not working at all, unfortunately. Here's the menu. So it's got a volume, which I'm trying to get the volume to work, and it's got their contrast, and that's hit by a menu key, actually physically on the keyboard, but yeah, not good. And there's a few of these sort of games and stuff, but I can't fathom out how they work. They're meant to be for children, but I couldn't fathom out how any of this stuff is supposed to work. To be brutally honest with you, I don't care enough to figure it out. Yeah, it's just bad, basically. There's nothing more I can really say. So there's a demo button, which I've just shown you, and you can sort of shows this sort of demo, which you can keep pressing the demo. There, I pressed it again, and yeah, I have no idea what's going on now. In all honesty, no idea. It's just bad, and yeah, I don't care enough to really carry on. So we're going to stop that there because yeah, as I said, there's the sounds for the spaces for the sounds rather, the speaker, and I cannot get that memory card out. So I think that's all that's left to do is taking the batteries out, and we're just going to take this thing apart because I want the plastics really for this recase project, as I explained in the intro. So simple Phillips crosshead screws. It's not too difficult to get this thing apart from the looks of it. At least I don't remember it being that bad. Okay, so we've got the screws out, and it doesn't put up too much of a fight to come apart, although I could not get this one corner out, and I was trying to figure out what on earth's going wrong, and I found they hid one screw underneath one of the adhesive feet. Only one. I was just like, oh. So, anyway, with that done, should now come apart. Yeah. And you get a hint of just how cheaply made this device actually is, and a lot of the bits inside, which I'll show you in a minute, are kind of tricks. So first thing to do is I need to try and separate the various bits. There's this reset button which is underneath, which is just the screw, so we'll just take that out. Okay, that's great, that's out. And then those two wires there, that's the power. So I'm just going to have to cut those. Okay, that's cut. You'll then see here we've got this. This is the cat nut. It's not an Ethernet. It's used for the mouse, but it's the same Ethernet style jack. So we'll unscrew that. So that clears the back plastic plate. And it gives you an idea of what's actually inside. So you're looking at the underside of the supposed main computer, so the bit under the keyboard. The actual computing logic isn't actually in this part of the device, but you've got this keyboard, and you've got a slew of cables. So I'm just trying to get this memory card out at the moment. I said I don't know if it was meant to come out, but it was wedged in there. There we are, and it's physically bent, but I don't think there's any memory on that as such. I think it's purely acting as a sort of switch. A lot of these computers kind of mimic proper computers and memory cards and things, but they're not actually real. There's no logic there. It's just two pins, as you can see. So I think all that does, it acts like a big switch, which if you have it kind of switches on. I have no idea what it does, and I honestly, God, don't care. So now this is the speaker, which is underneath this plastic housing, which we're just taking out. and it's wedged in good, yeah, and there's some kind of gunk, or I don't know if it's something's been spilt on this machine, and that's why the speaker doesn't work, but yeah, it's wedged in there good and proper. Right, I want to have a look at the keyboard, because what I'm hoping to do is to, if we can retain the keyboard, as terrible as it is, I'm hoping we might be able to get it to remap and work with the ESP32 board that we want to use. But yeah, so it's kind of just, I think it's just so full of tape and everything's sort of wired together cheaply. This is the buttons and the mouse trackpad, which is a lie. And I couldn't quite figure out how this thing worked, but all it is, it's a sort of like a century. There's the buttons for the mouse buttons, they're proper buttons, but the actual mouse pad, you put your finger over it, and all it does is it kind of just makes a connection of like 4 buttons, up, down, left, right. It doesn't actually sense where you are or anything. Anyway, this is the underside of the keyboard, and you can see this is a pretty standard matrix style keyboard. So you've got copper, you've got carbon pads on this matrix, and this is a rubber pad. So you basically, when you push a key, it pushes the rubber matrix, which pushes the carbon onto the PCB below, and that makes the contact, and that identifies a button press, and that's pretty standard for most cheap keyboards. Anyway, I want to see how I'm going to get my ESP32 unit in, and yeah, so it's kind of wanting to go probably about there where the speaker is, so there will be a lot of hacking of plastic and material to get that to fit, but that's okay. I'd far rather do that than, I think, print something at this point. I think it's easier to try and get everything to fit inside an existing laptop. Right, so I'm trying to figure out how to get to the computing logic, which is all in the screen, and underneath this fake desktop sticker you can clearly feel screws. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on if you like this or not, I don't, this sticker needs to come up, and you can see there is underneath some very shallow Phillips screws, so we'll take those out. And yeah, so you can see it's almost like a, I'd say vinyl. It is almost like a piece of vinyl with a clear window in the middle, which protects the terrible LCD. So yeah, you can see it's just glued on, so it makes a bit of a mess. But I need to take the rest of these screws out. And I was trying to get the damn thing apart here, and I realised that there's 2 more securing screws actually inside the hinges on the underside of the laptop. And yeah, it's just they've got these plastic plugs that are hiding. So I had to get a knife in, and I realised at this point that the plastic, not just the rubber parts, but the plastic is really soft on this, despite its age. But anyway, there you are. That's the back sheet off, and that is the logic PCB. And you can see it's just one of these resin black dots. There's no chips or anything. Well, I say there is no chips. There is one surface mount IC on there, and there you are. I'm just pointing to it right there, which is a Philips logic switching chip. But it basically is part of the keyboard routine for selecting how the keyboard works. So here I'm just trying to take the PCB out, and the keyboard is directly wired. So each the columns and the rows of the keyboard matrix is wired directly to this. And there is the display, and it's just cheaply taped onto the back. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, we're not going to be able to do anything with that black dot, so I can't tell you what architecture this is running, or it's a shame really, but there's nothing much to say. Mainly that black dot, is main focus is just driving the LCD display, and then you can see here the wires that come in for the column and row selector for the keyboard. So we can't utilize any of that IC because it's not going to be compatible, but we can cut that and try and rewire the keyboard if it's worth it. Try and rewire the keyboard to see if we can actually get it to work.
Okay, so there we go. So this is kind of where we've got to with the machine. Let me just show you back. There we are, back to the desk, so I've pretty much ripped it apart. I want to try and save the keyboard if we can. Just trying to get another keyboard that works, that fits in this space is going to be awkward because it is a very small keyboard, and I can't just use a USB one. It has to be PS2 protocol. So we'll see what we can recover from the main board itself, but I doubt anything. I've cut a fair few bits off this already because they're just not needed. I think for now, though, we might just keep this as unworking cosmetic so it looks the part, even if we do have to use an external PS2 keyboard and mouse. So the main thing will be to see how if we can actually get stuff to fit inside this case, so we can gut this out and see if we've actually got enough physical plastic to actually fit an ESP32. I mean, yeah, we'll have to see. We kind of need to try and get that in if we can. So that, amongst many other projects, will be coming up here on Wi-Fi Sheep. Despite the technical problems I've had today, I hope that hasn't ruined the video too much for you, and I really hope you'll continue to like and subscribe to us here on the channel. As always, it's been great to have your company, so thanks so much, and I hope to see you real soon right here on the channel. Until next time, bye for now.